Be sure and tell them Large Marge sent ya.
In the 90s, we were just teeny tykes. We liked our movies and our bikes. We wanted to be DJs, but we were just teeny gals. So we went off to college and we remained as pals. 20 years later, we're still watching flicks and we're bringing you the feeling bit by bit. Sweetie and sweetie, we're here to say it's the Large Marge sent us podcast. Hey.
Hey guys, welcome to the Large Marge Sent Us podcast, your favorite podcast where two sweetie sisters talk about movies that shaped their childhood. I'm Sweetie with an I-E.
And I'm Sweetie with a Y.
Happy holidays!
Merry Christmas.
Happy Hanukkah!
Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Festivus for the rest of us.
Sorry, we've been MIA. It was pretty crazy November, so we just decided, just take a month off. Why not?
Why not?
Why not? Both Sweetie and I have got new computers. We can't figure out how to hook up the mics, so problem number 2.
Tech
We'll
problems.
figure it out. Right now we're on Sweetie's old computer, which is fine for now, I guess. But we're going to have to figure this shit out, and I don't know if we can. But pray for us. Anyways, so holiday movie number 1.
All right, so holiday movies, as we've said, a couple years running now, running out of holiday movies. We've done them all, basically. So we're reaching at the bottom of Santa's bag, if you will, to get some ones that we probably haven't seen or that familiar with at all. But those can be really fun because, we just reintroduce ourselves to movies that we may have missed. So this week I decided to reach, like I said, deep down into that Santa's magic bag and pull out this classic from 1989. It is called Prancer. Now I feel like reindeers don't get their due in terms of movies. There's not that many about them.
Well, non-Rudolph reindeers.
Yeah, right.
The other reindeers.
Right. What about the other reindeers? They used to laugh and call them names, like Pinocchio.
Well, they're dicks, so that's why they don't get movies.
So Prancer, 1989. I vaguely remember this. I want to say it was the movie that we watched for my friends, the Peachy twins' birthday at Hilltop Pizza. Not sure. Need to confirm it.
That was a different. We've talked about the Hilltop Pizza party, and I'm pretty sure it was a different movie. But I don't know. It was
bringing back Hilltop Pizza vibes when I was watching it today. I'm not gonna lie. Other than that, vague memory. Don't recall too much about this. Maybe the movie poster seemed kind of familiar to me. It is when you Google Christmas movies, 30 best Christmas movies ever. This is on it. Believe it or not.
I don't believe it, but interesting. Yeah, I never heard of this. Don't recall ever seeing the movie cover. Know nothing about it. Was dubious, and it's an interesting movie. It's an interesting flick for me.
It's a romp.
Not at all. I would classify it as extremely depressing. I would say it's like the Grapes of Wrath of Christmas movies.
It's real, sweetie. It's real.
It's just it's too real for me. It's too depressing and sad. There's no magic. It's the moral of the story is just pretend to believe in Santa, but there's not really a Santa. I don't know. It's just very anti-Christmassy to me. And I thought the dad was an abusive dick, and I just wanted her to run away. But anyways, we'll get to that.
I had a different take. I found it very heartwarming. I liked the story. I liked the realism, and maybe there wasn't your typical amount of Christmas magic that there would be in films like these. But I enjoyed it, and I didn't cry. There was a very emotional scene at one point, and I got into it. I was kind of distracted. I was cross-stitching a Christmas ornament.
Oh, geez.
Very distracting.
Well,
and
you missed all the depressing.
Didn't quite get the tears rolling down my cheeks, but I got a little choked up. There was some emotional moments.
Wow.
So Prancer, as I said, from 1989, starring a younger Sam Elliott. Yeah, what a tough dude that guy is. Whew. Kind of scary, as Sweetie said. kind of a scary dad.
Super scary.
You learn eventually kind of why he's like that, but I think he overdid it.
There's no excuse.
I think he just overdid the tough dad stuff.
I'm sorry. There's no excuse to like be mean to your children and tell your young daughter to like stop dreaming. And she's 8 years old. I mean, like they're treating her like she was like 15 years old. It was very bizarre.
Bad dad.
It was like
bad dad.
Sebastian from the Never-Ending Story all over again. Like she's a kid. Like she's allowed to believe in stuff.
But he was messed up. He's in a bad place. As the brother
his wife
said.
died.
Yes.
Get over it. I mean, like, come on. You don't treat your kids like your kids are like your one life. You know, like
He wasn't
that you
dealing
should be
with
clinging
being
to after a tragedy
widower
like
very
that.
well. Okay.
No, yeah, not at all. Anyway, so we'll get into it in the synopsis.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sam Elliott, what a voice.
Yeah. I mean, that guy is
grizzled.
Rugged, grizzled, like the definition of, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cloris Leachman. Always weird to see like a quote unquote young Cloris Leachman.
Who they make look 80,000 years
Yeah.
old.
That was
in
weird.
every movie.
Kind of. She's second billing. She's sort of a minor role as the eccentric like lady of the town.
Yeah, I wanted more from her. I wanted more from
No,
that
but yeah.
relationship. I was like, is she going to adopt Jesse?
Right.
Like,
why is she wearing old timey clothes?
What-
Like, what's the deal with the hoarder house?
the lights?
Lots of
yeah,
questions.
like
lots of
I don't know.
questions.
I don't know.
I would say a miscast Abe Vigoda as a veterinarian. Didn't really feel him in that
a cranky
role.
veterinarian. So I guess that was legit.
Also, like, what's the deal with that guy?
You mean are
Way he
his
speaks
eyebrows
or something?
real?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. Yeah. What does he? I think that's just his.
That's his accent?
His vibe.
His
I guess.
vibe,
I
yeah,
don't know.
his
I don't
vibe.
know. I don't know.
So the main actress, I did not write her name down, but
She's in like 3 things
yeah.
total. The real story, guys, is that her best friend, one Carol Wetherby, is played by the one and only Lex from Jurassic Park.
Ariana
Which
Richards.
really blew my mind. I was like, why do I know that girl? And I was like, oh my God. And did you also notice that the Pee-wee's Big Adventure / Big Brother from the Wonder Years kid, I think, was one of the students?
Really? No,
Yeah.
I didn't.
I
Apparently,
been ready since day one.
apparently,
Oh.
Jesse Bradford is one of the students.
Who's that?
Swim fan, brother.
Oh my God.
In, cheerleading movie.
Wow. Crazy.
Jesse Bradford.
Didn't
I
realize
didn't
that.
see him, but he must have been very little, very,
Yeah.
very tiny. You have Johnny Galecki as also random kid.
Oh, maybe that was the kid. that I
Yeah,
was
maybe that's who
thinking
you're
of.
thinking of. Okay, yeah, Johnny
Forget
Galecki.
it. Forget
Johnny
it.
Galecki.
Forget it. Okay, he
He's
looks like
in-
that other kid.
Yeah, he's in school. He's one of the kids, kind of a brat. Yeah, random. The dad from My Big Fat Greek Wedding was the Santa, Michael Constantine.
I thought he
is
looked familiar.
that actor's name. So like a lot of randos. Director John Hancock, not that John
It's
Hancock,
Herbie Hancock.
but no, nothing memorable. Looked like some '80s TV shows. A couple movies I never heard of. So this actually felt very TV movie to me. I think it could have been. Kind of surprised it would have come out in theaters, but that's the way the Christmas movies go. Always kind of borderline TV movie. Like, should this have been made? Did it make any money? But I think it was like part of maybe some people growing up their childhood, like watch Prancer or something like that. I read some of the reviews, let's say, and that was the gist I got. So, anyways, what else is there to say about this movie about a reindeer?
Not much. I say we just get into
Okay.
it.
It's time for the sweetie synopsis.
Yeah, sweeties.
Looks like Santa's only going to have 7 reindeer this year.
You finally got a quote.
I know.
Great.
I was proud of that.
Great. Jesse Riggs lives in depressing some town in Michigan.
3 forests, no, 3
I don't know.
trees, Michigan or
It's
something.
bleak there. Like it's
3
just
rivers?
like very small town. Jesse, you know, she's a happy girl, which is surprising because her mother has died. When is unclear to me. I don't know if they really get into that.
Seems like semi-recent
Yeah.
because the aunt keeps coming around and she she talks about her like she was pretty aware of it when she died. You know, the stuff that went on around her death. So
True.
I don't think it was that long ago.
Right. Okay. So yeah, her mom has died. She lives with her father and her brother. Her father is an apple farmer. They have an apple farm. It's not going great. They're pretty poor. They don't have a lot of money.
Are we poor?
Yeah, that classic convo. She overhears her dad and her.
No, we're just out of luck, kid.
It's a good impression.
I know.
She overhears her dad and Aunt Sarah talking about something, and they're like, "Have you told her yet?" And it's like, "No." She's like, "Oh my god, what are they talking about?"
I thought she was gonna marry him.
I know,
too.
me too.
I thought it was
that's what
sketchy
Jesse
thing.
thought. But yeah. So, anyways, a little bit about Jesse. She likes to sing really loudly, and like to the point where the chorus teacher's like rude about it and is like, maybe you should sing softer. Here's what you should do, teacher, is like teach her how to sing. It's not that she's singing too loudly, it's that she's not singing on the right key. Like if she was singing on the right key, I think she would be. And if she didn't
Which
like
you don't
belt it
have
out
to
so
in
loud,
third grade.
no, but like yeah, again, she's 8 years old. Cut her some slack, Jack. So whatever. Her best friend Carol Wetherby has decided that she's having an existential crisis and doesn't believe in Santa Claus or heaven or God. So Carol Wetherby, I love her. She's got great bangs. She was my favorite character. She's just telling it like it is, and like, girl was right, but whatever. And so Jesse and Carol are walking home from school one day, and they see this reindeer decoration like strung up on the town, like all eight
tiny reindeer.
8 tiny reindeer strung up on these lines. And as they're walking, like one of them falls off and breaks. And Jesse's like, oh my God, it was Prancer, because she's like memorized.
Foreshadow, guys.
She's memorized the numbers of like what order the reindeer are in. And so she knows it's Prancer. So they're like, oh my God. So then they go sledding, and they decide to go sledding on this like scary old lady's property who's Cloris Leachman. And they sled down, and Cloris Leachman comes out. I forget what that character's name is, but she like comes out with a snow shovel and is like, "Get off of my property! Get away from my flowers!" And then Jessie, God bless her, just comes sledding down the hill right into those flowers, which, by the way, is winter, so it's like they're dead flowers.
Well,
or
they were
whatever.
all wrapped up.
Oh, okay. And then Jessie just like smacks all of them. I thought she was dead. I was like, is this a movie where she dies in the very beginning and the whole movie's like, oh, actually,
Did you
you're
notice
dead?
the stunt doubles for the girls sledding were like grown men?
No.
Like huge on the
Damn
sled.
it. That would have been hilarious to
It's
see.
like little girl coats. I'm like, this is great.
Oh my God, funny. But yeah, so she wrecks the flowers. The woman's very upset. They run away. And then on the way home, she sees a reindeer, which is very unusual in Michigan, apparently. And she's like, Prancer, is that you? And she's like, so like interested in this. But her dad like interrupts her. He finds her. He's like, this is very dangerous. You shouldn't be out here. You could get shot. Hunters are hunting, blah, blah, blah. So puts her in the truck. They go back home, and she's like, what were you talking about with Aunt Sarah? And he was like, oh yeah, I like can't take care of you anymore because you need a mom, and I just can't do it. So I can't teach you anything. So I'm gonna have you live with Aunt Sarah. And she's like, what? Daddy, no, I want to stay with you. Even though he's so mean to her and is just like always yelling at her. And she's like,
that's also just how he was, because she didn't really wasn't fazed about how mean he was to her. It seemed like that was just
she
like
should be.
But
He was
she was
pretty
never upset.
borderline
He was
abusive.
Always yelling at her.
She
and
was
she's
at
like,
the
okay,
end.
dad, okay, dad, okay, dad. Like it wasn't like she was bothered by it. So I think that was like honestly his personality growing up. The guy was stressed out. Not only had he just lost his wife, but the apple orchard or apple farm is tanking.
I don't care. He was an ass, very mean, was like picking her up, and like I'm pretty sure he was like whipping him with a belt. Like he was a bad dad.
That's how they did it back then.
I don't care. Girl lost her mom. Cut her some slack again. So anyways, so while she's upset or whatever, they almost hit the reindeer. Prancer is in the middle of the road. She's like, Dad, we got to help him. So he's wounded, which is like, uh-oh, bad sign here. So of course her dad goes in the back, gets a shotgun out, and like, man, Jessie, bad day for Jessie. Like, gets yelled at for singing too loudly, loses her best friend Carol Wetherby after Carol Wetherby was like, there's no heaven. And she's like, well, where's my mom? And then the dad is like, I'm kicking you out. And then he almost shoots her prized like reindeer that she found. So bad day.
She's obsessed with reindeer.
She's obsessed with the reindeer. Yeah. And this
before
this was obsessed with reindeer. Now extremely obsessed. Anyway, so while they're arguing, Prancer like runs away. So she's like, phew, he made it. So later that night she hears some ruckus or has a dream. She wakes up from like a dream of like Prancer being like, whoa, like the fake Prancer thing falling she sees, and then like the real reindeer. So she goes to the barn and Prancer's in there and she's like, oh my God, Prancer, like we got to get you out of here. So she like forces poor Prancer to like hobble all this way on his like broken leg into
across an icy
pond.
Yeah, that was rough.
And then, finds salvation in this like other barn. I don't know whose barn this is, but so she like stashes him there. Doesn't have any food for him except like Christmas cookies. So she's like, all right, I gotta find some food for you. So she's keeping this a secret. She needs to get some money. So she decides, good idea. I'll ask that crazy witch lady if I can do some chores for her.
Yeah.
And she'll give me money. So she apologizes to her, and then the woman has her clean out the attic, which is like a hoarder's nightmare.
No, it was just like a separate room in the house that was a hoarding nightmare. But
then
she
why
ended
did she
up
go in the attic?
putting all this stuff in the attic because she was like sorting it. And she finds all these Christmas decorations, and they bond. Apparently, that lady used to decorate her house really beautifully every year, but seems to have had some sort of tragedy of her own.
Like, I think she's
and
a
has
widow,
like closed
so
herself off to Christmas.
Her husband died,
Yeah.
so she's upset too. But little Jessie convinces her to like put the lights up, and she changes basically, and she's like a happy person.
Literally most unrealistic part of this movie. The Santa part, I honestly believe, and the reindeer.
Yeah.
Here was the most unrealistic part of this movie. That Jessie could put up those Christmas lights on the roof.
I know.
And then put the giant star up on the top, and the lady's like, a little more to the left.
Yeah,
and
how
she's
did
like
she
an
do that?
8-year-old on the top of this giant house on this roof.
Well,
Forget about it.
I'm sure it was the 30-year-old stunt double man. So
Yeah, crazy.
Did it for her. But yeah, so she gets the money. She buys a whole bag of oats for Prancer, so he finally eats. She's gotten a veterinarian to come and like fix him up, by the way, who like didn't want to do it at first, and then she's like, please reindeer, help.
Well, really, she used
yeah.
made him feel guilty because she goes, you're a doctor, and doctors don't do anything. Like, they don't cure people, because
Her
the
mom
doctor
died, yeah.
knows the mom died, I'm assuming, of like an illness or cancer, and doctors couldn't help her.
Right.
So the poor
So he's
vet's
like, fine.
motherfucker, guilt trip, and goes and fixes
the reindeer. So now the reindeer's got to heal a bit, but he's recovering.
and then he calls around, and the reindeer, there's no lost reindeer from like Santa's village or anything like that. So they're like,
mystery continues. So then Jessie had written a letter to Santa being like, come get Prancer, he's here in this barn, I'm keeping him safe, like pick him up.
Meet you at Antler Ridge. Wow, good name for,
which is like, okay, but if there's no reindeer in Michigan, why do they have an Antler Ridge?
Well, there's deer.
True.
Just regular deer.
True. You're right. Okay. Well, anyway, so she goes to find like a mall Santa and is like, I know you're not the real Santa, but please give this letter to the real Santa.
What's the deal with that with like Hollywood? That's seems to be a thing.
What do you mean?
Kids know, like, this is a thing in Home Alone too. Oh. I know you're not the real Santa, but you're one of his helpers.
Because you can't.
They think the mall Santas are like helpers.
Jesse's 8, so she's like not too dumb. Like, she thinks Santa's real, but knows that it's not. I'm sure he's not at this Hobunk, mall in Michigan.
As a little kid, when you believed in Santa, did you remember? Did you think?
Well, sweetie, I didn't believe in Santa for very long because somebody told me.
I'm just
saying,
wasn't
real.
When I believed in Santa, I never made that leap being like, oh, these mall Santas work for Santa.
You never went to the mall Santa.
No, any fake Santa.
Oh,
I didn't think the fake Santas were really Santa ever, but I don't think I ever like made the connection. Ooh, but they're like his little minions.
Right. Yeah. I know. That's just something parents tell them, I guess. I don't know. But so that Santa is like tickled pink by this letter and like walks it over to the newspaper office and is like, I'm going to make your day. Like, do a story about this. So the newspaper guy like reads it and is like, oh, I guess this would make a good story. So he like writes this whole letter, basically kind of like the new version of like, yes, Virginia, there's a Santa Claus kind of thing.
What's the Yes, Virginia?
So in like the 18 somethings, the Sun paper, I think, which was a paper that used to be in New York, or was it a different city? A little girl had written into the newspaper asking if Santa Claus was real. And the editor like wrote back this like impassioned like letter, which I've never read the whole thing before, but Jessie like has a copy of it in this book that she reads. I guess her mom used to read it to her all the time. And so she reads it. It's like her favorite passage. And it's really weird. There's like something about a baby's rattle. And like, I did not know what they were reading until the very end when she was like, yes, Virginia, there's a Santa. And I was like, oh, okay. So anyways, this newspaper story is basically like that. So the town reads it and is very excited. And Jessie goes to church, and the priest does this like whole sermon about how Jessie's like saving the town and like bringing back the Christmas spirit. And she's like freaking out because her dad's going to read the paper and know that she's been like stashing this reindeer that she wasn't supposed to save in this barn.
She thinks Carol told everybody.
She thinks
by
Carol
the way.
told everyone.
And their friendship ends again.
Again, yeah. Poor
She's
Carol.
mouthing across like the pews like, big mouth, you bitch. No, she doesn't say that, but she's like very upset with Carol Wetherby.
Yeah. Poor Carol. Also had a couple of days, Carol Wetherby. And whenever
I
she
need
gets
the Carol story.
and whenever she gets mad at Carol, she's like, Carol Wetherby, you'll be sorry. She like uses her full name every time. It's pretty funny. So Jessie races home, and the dad did not read the newspaper, but he did, however, unfortunately see that Prancer has let all the other barn animals out of the barn, and so he runs after them, and then Prancer gets inside their house somehow, makes a mess. And then that's how the dad finds out that the reindeer is there. And then all these kids show up and are like, Prancer, Prancer, we're here to see Prancer. And so he's pissed. As luck would have it, the local butcher also runs a reindeer,
a Christmas tree,
a Christmas tree,
what do you call it?
Sales thing.
place.
And he's like, I'll buy that reindeer off of you for like, some hunk of money. And Jessie's like, no, like he's gonna eat them. And it's like, no, like he just wants to make money off of it and like have people come and like pay to like see the reindeer. So Jessie is like, I need to bust Prancer out of there. Like he's gonna make it back to like, be with Santa. Like this can't be right. So her brother, who's been like very elusive like this whole movie, and he has for some reason a cuff like earring on his ear.
It was the 80s.
He has to be like a year or two older than Jessie. I did not get it at all. I was like, how did he get that? And like, if the dad's mad at Jessie for believing in Santa Claus, why is he not mad at the son for having a weird earring?
He likes the son better.
Clearly. So Jessie decides she's going to bust out Prancer, and then also that she's going to run away because like, fuck her dad. He's super mean to her, doesn't love her, is always yelling at her. And her brother's like, no, like, I love you. You can't go. I do love you.
Real sweet.
So real sweet moment there. Helps her try to break Prancer out. In the midst of everything, that like a cop comes. There's this whole like shenanigans. Jessie's trying to like climb a tree to get to Prancer. Falls. This scene of her falling off the tree and hitting the snow was like terrible. Like it looked like her neck was snapped. Like I thought she was dead. So
and like so she had like opened the top of the reindeer cage that he's in, and she thinks he can fly and he's just gonna like fly out of there.
But he's
so
not
you're
flying.
expecting like some magic moment here, and sadly it never comes.
Never happens.
He is not
Doesn't
able to
fly.
fly out of that cage.
doesn't fly. So her brother like runs to go get help, and Jessie's like limp body is just on the ground. Prancer like kicks the gate off of the thing and then goes and sits by Jessie to like keep her warm because it's snowing and cold out. So presumably saved her life in that sense. So then it cuts to like the next morning, and the dad's like, yeah, we saved her. Like it was barely, she could have died. It was scary, blah, blah, blah. And then Aunt Sarah or whatever's like, Prancer saved her life, like, blah, 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 blah. And so he's like, I guess, okay, yeah, I guess that reindeer's okay. So Jessie's recovering. She's still, like, a little depressed. And then her dad has, like, the sweet moment with her and is like, I haven't been treating you right, I know, blah, blah, blah. I'm sad about your mom, blah, blah.
But when she was gone that night before, he realized how much he would have missed her.
Yeah,
if she
so he
had sent her away to go live with Aunt Sarah.
He was wrong, blah.
The village, the people of the town get together and come to her window and sing Christmas carols because like the whole thing was she really like reinvigorated a little bit a lot of people's like belief in good and the holiday season and what it's all about and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I think the theme is really that like you believe it even though you don't see it kind of a thing. Like she talks about in the beginning when Carol Weatherby's talking about how she doesn't believe in Santa anymore, and she starts that whole thing about like, well, you believe in God, right? Like you can't see him, you don't have like actual visual proof of like him doing things, but you still believe. And for her, that's the same thing as that Santa does. Like it's just more almost like about like a feeling, and you just believe it because you do.
Right.
And so that's kind of the same thing with Prancer. Like she hasn't seen him do anything magical, no connection to Santa, but she just believes because she does.
But after her accident, you know, she's a little bit surly now about it, and she's like, Prancer's not real, like Santa's not real. And then fucking like Aunt Sarah comes in and is like, what are you talking about? Of course Santa's real. And I'm like, damn, like she should have gone with this bitch like way at the beginning. Like she should have left and stayed with Aunt Sarah. Anyways, so Jessie changed her mind, and her dad's like, let's go let Prancer free, and then he'll fly back to Santa or whatever. So they do that. He like takes off for Antler Ridge. He runs so fast they lose sight of him, and then she's like, where'd he go? He's nowhere. And then the dad finds tracks that are leading like over to the ridge and then are gone. And so she's like, did he jump? And then her dad's like, listen, maybe you can hear the bells. And she does, and then there's like this weird animation of like Santa's sleigh in reindeer or whatever. However, he could have also just, you know, flown off the side of that.
Why would he commit
his
suicide?
death?
Why would
Because he didn't.
Would Prancer commit suicide? He was finally free.
What was at the end of that thing? And also, why do they call that Antler Ridge? Because deer always run off it because they can't see it, and now there's probably like a billion dead antlers, deer at the bottom.
If you believe, sweetie, you know that he rejoined Santa. I don't know what happened to Prancer. I don't know how he ended up in Michigan, wandering the woods. I don't know how he got shot in the foot.
It's suspect.
What
I read
the
the
hell
trivia.
happened?
The director definitely wanted to say that he did not make it, but the producers were like, no, it has to be a happier ending than that.
Yeah.
So that's why he added that. But but that's the movie. And so like very strange. Like I was really expecting like, oh, there is a Santa Claus kind of moment at the end that never happens. It's just, like I said, it was just too real for me.
Well, it's an interesting take. It's an interesting way to do a Christmas movie. Like we said, very real. There isn't any magic in this except like human magic about a little girl like warming the hearts of people who maybe have forgot what the spirit of Christmas is and what it's all about. So if that's the magic you're looking for, this movie sure has it. But if you're looking for reindeer flying or Santa's sleigh, I mean, they do that little bit in the end, but I think in the director, that little bit that they talked about in the trivia said, like, it was probably more her, like, dreaming it. Like, when the dad was like, oh, do you hear the bells? And she was just, like, so hoping that she did hear it. And then she just looked up and, like, imagined, basically. Because she's still a kid, okay? So if you're at the level that you're still believing in Santa, like... You're a little kid, hopefully.
Okay. Well, Carol Weatherby didn't believe in Santa, so I don't know.
Carol Weatherby is an old soul, okay? She is a perfect person. Yeah, I love that character. As I said to Sweetie earlier today, the real star of this movie is Carol Weatherby's hair, everybody. Her 80s mullet. Okay, there was one scene where it is like entirely stuck up out of her head, like the bangs part. And I'm like... Look. Is that the look?
That was the look.
Or did she like just pull off her hat?
No, that
then
was
her
the look.
mom shows up and it's an exact twin of that same hairstyle.
That's the look. It's the DJ Tanner. You like you wear your hair like half up, and then like you take your bangs and you tease them, and then you get the hairspray.
Oh my god! And
you stick
in
them
general, I know this was 1989, but this is like one of the most 80s movies I've ever seen in terms of fashion and stuff. The big glasses. They had a guy at the church who looked like he was a member of like Flock of Seagulls. It was just the fashion was so great. She like puts on this dress for church, and it's just this like total 80s, like it has like a peplum mini skirt, this really like ugly floral print. Not really her style. Do you remember that? Aunt Sarah gave it to her. She's like, do you like the dress? She's like, you bet.
Aunt Sarah.
Yeah, it was such an 80s movie for being like kind of tail end of the 80s. Loved it. Guess the 80s came late to Michigan.
Totally. Yeah. So, I mean, the main thing, I felt like there were a lot of loose ends. Like, really, the whole Cloris Leachman character, I don't know why she's there, like, other than it's the one person that Jesse, like, changes someone's mind about or whatever. But I was like, is she going to adopt her? Like, I was like waiting for her to fit into the story more. I was like, is she actually going to be Mrs. Claus? Like, you're just like trying to find her.
I was
having a purpose.
Sort of frustrated when she's helping her clean the room, and she's just saying very rapidly, and this goes over here, and this goes in this room, and this goes in this room. And I was like, how is she going to remember all that?
Well, at least she brought her a sandwich and was like, little girl,
or cookies,
little girl,
and then like wanted her to stay. I don't know.
It was. I mean, I hope weird scene. I hope they make it as friends.
Also paid her $15 instead of the $5.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was nice.
And I hope she lets her go sledding. You know, at her house
she had
after.
6 sledding hill.
Yeah, it was. You can't just like have that and not let kids sled down it. It's bullshit. I mean, I just felt like the dad's redemption arc was like not earned. Like he just like realized when his daughter almost died that, oh, just kidding, like I do love you. I don't know, it's just a little ridiculous. I was just really pissed at him.
It's very, I mean, there's way more of these sad dad bad dad movies where the mom is dead. It's like every movie we watch, the mom is dead, there's like usually a daughter, and there's some weird relationship with the dad. He's just like a sad, bad dad. And then by the end, he turns the corner. But sick of these movies, man. Why does the mom always die?
Yeah, always. What else? Christmas pageants. I thought so.
Oh, that's what I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
Really took me back.
Yeah, definitely. So Jessie, the beginning when they're like singing the songs is for like this Christmas pageant. And she is playing an angel? No. What? I forget.
Yeah, because she has wings.
But it's the classic.
Like running all around with her wings.
It's the classic.
It's the nativity.
Nativity, blah, 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 blah. So I feel like we've told this story before, but like we had our Christmas pageant at our church that we unfortunately had to go to CCD, if you recall us complaining about. I was given, Sweetie here, the honor of being Mary. So talk a little bit about that.
Okay. So, yes, we belong to this Catholic church. We did a Christmas pageant every year. When you were little, maybe you'd be like a little angel. Maybe you'd get to be a sheep or whatever. By 5th grade, you may or may not be able to get the coveted role of Virgin Mary, and that's what I got to be. So I got to wear like a beautiful blue outfit, kind of this blue scarf, and you got to hold a real life baby. Very exciting. So, and then you had a line too, which was pretty exciting. You would get I have to say it, it would be during a mass that they would do this little pageant. So you have like very minor rehearsal. And my Joseph was Billy Allen, this kid in my class, nice guy, just a friend of mine. And we're Mary and Joseph, and we're doing our whole thing. And at one point, like you go down the center aisle, you sit down in the manger, and someone hands you the live, or I guess I was holding the live baby as we walk down. And then I sit down with the baby, and then we're like watching all the other stuff like happening. So then I'm supposed to hand the baby to Joseph and then get up. Now, Billy Allen, God bless his soul, nice fella, dumb as it gets, and was not paying attention and missed the cue of to take the baby from me so I could get up and like deliver my line or whatever. And he's just like staring into space. And I'm like, Billy. And he is not getting up. And I'm like, oh my God, I have like these big robes. I'm going to have to get up with this newborn baby. And I think I'm going to drop the damn baby. The mother is sitting right in front of me in the pew. It was terrifying. So somehow I finagle my way up and I do not drop the baby. But at this point, I then hand it to Billy Allen and I completely blank on my line. I have no idea what my line is because I've just been traumatized that I'm going to drop this little baby. So what to me felt like 10 minutes of silence was, I think, maybe 3 seconds. But it finally clicked and my line was like, yes, Joseph, we thank God for the gift he has given us.
But say it in a weird accent.
Yes, I did. And and it was all over. But man, that was the most stressful thing. You know, I've been in a lot of shows.
Yeah.
I was a dancer growing up.
Fucking
That was
Billy.
the most stressful thing. Never forgave Billy Allen for the rest of my life. I think he moved, so I couldn't hold the
Good
grudge
riddance.
very long.
Yeah,
But
he sucks.
oh God,
Fuck
so
him.
stressful.
Meanwhile, so I got to be the lead angel, which was there were two kinds of angels: the head angel, the lead angel. The head one, I think, was the one that spoke, and like you had to read something. The lead angel, you held this big star and like walked and went and got the wise men, and like you just like led everybody around basically. So that was my role, non-speaking, whatever. I was fine with it. But our CCD teacher, Jimmy Philman, rest in peace. He was cool and young, and so like he was like joking around with us and like sitting under the altar ready to like give cues. And during the actual pageant, we were like distracted, and so we were like joking about something, and then they're like playing this music, the wise men music, and he's like, wait a minute, he's like, oh wait, you're supposed to be getting the wise men. And I was like, shit. And so I like book it down the aisle like like trying not to walk super fast but like not slowly. So it was this weird like gait. And I go and get the wise men, like bring them back. And I was like, wow, close one. So that was my brush with, a lot of mishaps in those pageants, I guess.
Yeah, that one was, we did it every year. We had elementary school ones where you would sing. My one I remember very clearly is the up on the housetop,
Reindeer paws,
out jumps good old Santa Claus. And I remember we did this concert. Oh yeah, it was kindergarten. I remember my friend Liz Peachy. Oh, I already mentioned her once on this podcast.
Yeah.
This is number 2 for Liz Peachy.
Woo.
Was like kicking her leg like this. You can't see me, but I'm kicking my leg like this. And she kicked off her shoe during the concert, and everyone was like, and I remember afterwards, Mrs. Horton was like, Elizabeth, she called her, I am so proud of you. You lost your shoe and you kept going. I remember that was like a huge to-do.
I remember mom made me this like amazing like red skirt for one of the Christmas concerts. It was like this red metallic, remember this material?
Yeah.
And then it had like tulle on the bottom. Oh,
Beautiful.
I was obsessed with
That was beautiful.
That's another memory. So
Yeah.
a lot of good memories
Good
with Christmas
stuff. I hope
stuff.
I have those.
Yeah.
I hope as Sweetie Junior gets older here,
Oh,
we're going to be
she
going to
better.
some Christmas pageants
better.
or sing-alongs or something. When kids,
Yeah.
like you really do learn so many Christmas songs when you're growing up as kids. It's like the main thing you do. I feel like elementary school, like learning these little songs.
Yeah, crazy.
So, God, I can't wait for that.
good times.
Wait.
All right.
Okay, I just have one question for you.
Great.
Who's your favorite reindeer? So clearly, Jessica's was Prancer. Who's your favorite? Hard to
know.
tell. Like, do they have qualities? Do we know anything about
I
them?
don't know anything about them except that they
Other-
were dicks to Rudolph.
Except
I don't know. Maybe
except Rudolph.
Vixen. She seems cool.
That's who I chose too. I thought
I'm gonna
that
call it
was
a girl.
Like a really cool name.
yeah.
Do you know Dasher and
Dancer,
and
Prancer, Vixen, Blitzen,
Comet,
Donner, Cupid, Comet.
I was attracted to Comet, not in a sexual way, but like that seemed like a cool name.
Because he was the dog in Full House.
No, I just like
Oh.
Comet.
Cool.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, sure. He flies like his Comet.
That's what I'm saying. We need more reindeer movies.
Yeah.
We need to know more.
We should watch the creepy Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer Claymation or whatever one.
I think.
Yep. Unfortunately. Oh.
I could show that to Sweetie Junior.
Maybe she'd like it.
Yeah.
Maybe. She'll pay attention for 2 minutes.
That's more than she's ever paid attention to.
Yeah. We'll try it. We'll try it. But yeah, so happy start of Christmas season from the Sweeties. If you feel like being depressed, watch this movie.
It's free on HBO Max.
Yeah, or Sweetie says it's not depressing, so whatever. Oh, your mic broke again. Sorry, we're having mic issues again.
Out jumps good old Santa Claus down through the chimney with lots of toys.
Okay,
All
all right.
for the little ones.
All right.
Christmas joy.
Well, anyways, come find us. Should we still be on Twitter? I feel like everyone canceled their Twitter
I know.
account because of Elon
I-
Musk. So
I
maybe
dropped Twitter a while
maybe
ago.
just find us on Instagram at Large March
Yeah.
Sent Us. Thank you as always for listening. Bye.
Bye.